breaking news also coming in this hour. The Supreme Court has disposed of the plea filed by 35 candidates who were excluded from the revised merit list of Jharkhand Judicial Service Preliminary Examination 2023. The petitioners were amongst around 184 candidates who had already qualified in the preliminary examination and had submitted their documents for participation in the next stage of the selection process. They contended that the corrective exercise carried out after revision of the answer key could not result in their exclusion after they had already been declared successful. Sambhav Sharma joins us for more details on this story. Sambhav, what can you share with us about the Supreme Court disposing of this plea? Sambhav, are you able to hear me? Okay, I think we've lost his connection there, but these, of course, are the big updates coming in. The Supreme Court has disposed this plea filed by 35 candidates who were excluded from the revised merit list of the Jharkhand Judicial Service Preliminary Examination 2023. Well, these petitioners were amongst those, in fact, around 184 candidates who had already qualified in the preliminary examination. They had submitted their documents for participation in the next stage of the selection process. PGB 500 bomb trials from Indian Air Force Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets are all set for September and October. DRDO and the Indian Air Force will be running carriage and release trials of the indigenous PGB 500 precision guided bomb on the Su-30 MKI over September and October. The bomb carries a 500 kg warhead built to penetrate hardened targets using GPS INS guidance with terminal homing for accuracy. Carriage trials come first, checking how the aircraft handles the added drag and weight, followed by release trials to validate separation and strike accuracy. The Su-30 MKI already carries BrahMos and Astra missiles and remains the backbone of the Indian Air Force's strike fleet. With around 270 aircrafts in service, a heavy precision bomb gives commanders a far cheaper option than a cruise missile for hitting the same category of hardened target, bunkers, command posts, fortified positions without drawing down missile inventory reserved for higher value strikes. Atul Ranjan joining us for more on this story. Atul, give us more details about these trials lined up for September and October this year.
Well, PGB 500 precision guided bomb that is being lined up as, the upcoming carriage and release trials of this is all set to be done by the Indian Air Force. Also, the fact that, this will significantly enhance India's standoff bunker bursting capability, which is right now, and this is being developed by DRDO, the Indian Defense Research and Development Organization. And what we're given to understand is that this 500 kilogram class general purpose weapon is optimized in a way to destroy fortified enemy positions, so those bunkers that we were speaking about. Now this the whole testing will follow a multi-stage validation phase as well, in order to safely integrate the weapon into the Sukhoi 30 MKI fleet, which is right now the backbone of the Indian Air Force as of now. Now, given this, the two-phase trial framework would also be, kicked in beginning September and October. The first phase being, the carriage trial phase, where it will be evaluated how the fighter jet manages and the additional weight and aerodynamic drag as well. The second would be the release trials, which will essentially validate the safe physical separation of the bomb from the wing or the fuselage stations. Now, this is quite significant for the IAF as well, because this is quite a cost-efficient destruction system. In fact, a heavy guided bomb, which serves as this is going to serve as a significantly cheaper alternative to compare to something like, say, cruise missiles, like the BrahMos, when it comes to at least targeting a stationary or those bunkers or fortified assets. Now, this PJB 500 also can be used for command posts and bunkers, freeing up expensive long-range missile stocks for high-value or deeply contested mobile targets as well. Now, this also helps in diversification, because we know that the Indian defense, the whole landscape has been, undergoing an indigenization project for several years now, and this will in fact, boost that whole prospect also as well. So quite a significant, tests and carriages that is lined up, trials that are lined up in coming months for Indian Air Force.
Thank you, Atul, for joining us with those details. On that note, we're going to slip into a short break.